miracles, lots of miracles happen. They do it on this super consciousness.
Here we have to discuss one thing. Most of the things which we call miracles have some natural explanations. What we cannot explain, we call as a miracle. And there are some which have some explanation, some laws of nature which most people do not know. All the yogi does is to know those laws so that he can operate it. There is nothing on this earth which does not follow some law. When you say miracle, it means you don't know that law which is being operated. That's all. It's not that there is also a law for that.
I think St. Augustine said miracles do not happen in contradiction to nature, but in contradiction to that which is known to you as nature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. What we think that such and such a thing only can happen under such circumstances because we don't know that there are so many other laws in nature. Somebody who has access to those laws will use it. So those who do not understand those laws will call it a miracle. Now, if today still there exists a village where people have not grown up, have not studied, have not seen an aeroplane. If they see an aeroplane, it's a miracle. How can such a huge thing fly up in the sky carrying people? They won't even believe it, first of all. It's a miracle. Now, why? Because there is certain laws which we say, no, this is an aeroplane, these are so ignorant. They don't know those laws. We know the laws of things, we think we are wise. It is nothing, aeroplane. It's a miracle. If you really look at it from that point of view, that is a great miracle. The very seed which you plant on the earth is growing up into such a big tree and giving flowers and fruit is a great miracle. But we have accepted it, and therefore we don't look at the miraculous aspect of it. The very fact that a child is surviving is a miracle. The very fact that a little child can come out of the womb where there is not even a place to come out, pushing his head through and crying, that itself is a big miracle. If you really look at life, you don't need any external miracle. Life itself is a great miracle. In fact, it is dangerous for sadhaks to get caught up in the idea of miracles, because then you are sidelined. In fact, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say that if there is a sadhu showing miracles, run away with your life.
He exhibits, but he should understand it.
In the course of meditation, in the course of one's journey into the inner, all these are understood on the way. One need not consciously apply oneself.
Prohibition is not exhibiting. Prohibition is not to exhibit.
There is no prohibition actually like that, but it's not worth it. First of all, because suppose somebody exhibits some kind of a miracle, then later on people who come to that person will come only for the miracle, not for understanding anything else. Your interest will be for the miracle and not for understanding the source of the miracle, or whatever you call it. Miracle is not a right word actually. That is the danger of it. And it's not a right thing to keep on making people interested in these little things, because then, you see, suppose most of the miracles are to do with this world, and we are seeking what is beyond. So if you are caught up in it, you are always caught up in this world. The greatest miracle would be for a great yogi to guide a person to the highest. That is the greatest miracle. It's a very difficult miracle. It's really a miracle if it happens. That is really can be called a miracle if it happens. If one person in a million reaches that, it is a great miracle. That should be the effort. Now if you keep satisfying people with these things, you are sick, oh you are cured. You are poor, now you are rich. Or you are rich, now you are poor. No, that nobody will ask. Or, then what happens then? One is no more serious about what one is looking for. Well, if it happens in the natural course, which means there is a yogi, you go to him, He doesn't do any miracles or anything of the kind. He's trying to teach you how to find your true self, how to find God, how to communicate with the divine. Incidentally, as it goes on, certain things happen in your life. That is okay. But not every time somebody comes, you do something and then you get... See, even magicians can do that, but nobody goes flocking to magicians.
No, not that way.
No, I'm not talking about what you said, I'm just saying. The greatest miracle is to be able to lead a person to spiritual growth. That is the greatest miracle. Beyond that, there is no miracle, and it is the most difficult miracle possible. Once, there was a great saint, yogi, Sufi saint, who had number of disciples. So one day in the next town, when another man appeared who was doing lot of miracles. So soon lots of all his disciples left because they went to see that man and they became his followers and they disappeared. And there were about 4 or 5 of them left who were sticking. So the master said, now the filtering process has taken place. These are the ones who are very serious. So they will stick on. And then the next day he announced that he was also going to work all the miracles that are seen, that have been done by the other person. So large crowds gathered. Then he told the fellows who were with him, see, now people have come to see for entertainment. So they all came and he did all the miracles. So they were all pleased, more and more people. Then next day he announced, now I am going to reveal today all the tricks that are behind these miracles. So next day people came and saw how all of them, and they were all magic tricks. Then he said, now you want to go there or go here? They said, these were tricks but that were real. So we are going there. Because he didn't reveal how it was done. So he was still left with 3. So he told the 3 of them, one of you is a sincere student, the other is a sincere follower, and the third one is neither a student nor a follower. So he got worried. He said, then what am I? He said, I am you. He became his chief disciple.
Many people are attracted towards miracles.
Human nature.
Yes.
When we are in trouble, who wants to know about Vedanta, Supreme Being, how to get out of the trouble? So naturally we try everywhere, then ultimately we go to the yogi. Sir, please help us out. The problem is, if it is possible, if he has the capacity to do it, he should do it. But he should always do it with a warning. My dear chap, this is not the real thing. This is something I am doing to help you out, but just think, how am I able to help you out? What is it in me that makes it possible for me to work this? Then why don't you become like that? So that you are independent and don't depend on anybody else. So therefore, the idea of the teacher should be to make you stand on your own feet independently. If a teacher makes you totally dependent, then there are either two methods, 2 reasons for that. One is he wants you to be always dependent on you. And the other is probably he is dependent on you.
But for very few, I'm talking about myself. This is so good, the miracles. I didn't believe, I sort of convinced myself there is no God. My father passed away at that day. Till I saw that, it triggered off a thought in me that there is something more than what I know.
That's fine.
And there are few people who need to see this to grasp. Maybe very few, but
Yeah, but then people, if they see something, they'll usually go it for repetition. They don't want to figure out or think, there is something beyond. These are actually expressed to show people, to point out that there is something other than this. There are other things, but that is not the reason why people stick to it. They don't want to go beyond. They want to repeat the performance, so that you are attracted to the performance rather to the hint. The hint is the most important thing. But then I think for most people, the greatest miracle is to bring about a change in thinking, not so much an action. A change in thinking. If you can bring that about, that is the greatest miracle. There is nothing better than that. The change in thinking means to turn inward and try to figure out what life is all about. What is our link with life? What is life? Am I just there to be born and die? Or is there something other than... This turn of mind is the biggest miracle. If something happens to a person like that, then it's worth it. If it doesn't, it's not worth it. Now that is for the teacher to decide what is best and work accordingly. Even then I would say it is better to keep away from too much of this show. Keep it to yourself. When it is essential and when there is an emergency, you can do it. But always, are you doing prana?
No, sir.
But always tell people that please keep it to yourself. Don't go around beating the drum and saying this happened, this happened. Because then everybody will be interested only in this happening, not in that happening.